for being here. Thanks, Sharon, for all the kind words. I know that he spent a lot of time trying to kind of bring this to life, and we owe a lot for Sharon for his patience. As I said, it took a year. Hope it's worth it. So, I'm going to start off with who is Chargebee Design and why we are doing this. Right? So, I'm Praveen, by the way. So, I'm Praveen. I lead the design team at Chargebee. We are a bunch of product designers, researchers, UX writers, system designers, and so on and so forth. Right? And we work on various challenges, design challenges for Chargebee. So, the reason for these events and the reason for this specific event, especially, is to kind of talk about some of the lessons that we learned as a design organization, as a design team within a company, in a global SaaS company. Right? So, also growing global SaaS company. Right? And I want to share some of those lessons with you, right? And share some of the insights of what has worked for us in the past and what failures that we have had and things like that. Right? So, but we are also here to learn from you as well. Right? So we also want to have these conversations with you folks, and then we want to understand some of the challenges that you are going through in your organizations. Right? So we are really hoping that this is going to be a dialogue. Right? So I'm going to start off with maybe you are a young startup, you're just starting out, or maybe you've already found your product market fit, you are a growing company, right? You probably have a design project that's running in your organization right now, right? So let's talk about a different design project, right? So I'm going to take an example of user onboarding. It's going to be a product design example, but the same philosophies and framework will probably fit in other kind of design projects. But I want to take a user onboarding project as a typical design project that's probably running in our organization, right? So if you think about a user onboarding project, right? You probably have a PM who's probably starting to analyze some of the challenges with when your users start onboarding with your product. They probably go through some of the pain points that the users are having when they probably start with your product, and you want to fix that. Right? So the PM probably starts with an analysis document. They're probably listing out the pain points. They're probably checking with the competition and see how they are solving onboarding, and they probably get started with the menu. Right? So now they start to collaborate with the designer. Right? So a designer probably jots down the challenges of the users again, and if you're lucky, he or she is probably doing some user research, talking to some customers, hopefully, and they start working on this project. Right? So they probably spend some weeks, and then it's a black hole, right? So after that, what happens, right? So after that, this is hyperbole, but say some 6 years have happened, have crossed since the last time you saw them working on this course together, right? Right. So they've probably been spending weeks on this project, right? Trying to attack this problem at various angles, right? And they have a solution, and they're very excited about it, right? And I come and show to you how they have fixed onboarding, right? How they have had this new user journey that they have mapped, from your first mile experience of your project, of your users, and they're very excited about it, right? So they probably call you, or they probably call some of the other stakeholders, and they're presenting all this nice fancy new onboarding that they just did. Right? But for some reason or other, you're like, you're not sure. This sucks. this probably is not what I was thinking about, right? It seems like they did the things, they did the steps, they followed the process, they went through the journey, they probably spoke, but for some reason or other, you feel like it's not there. It's not, it's, you feel like the folks have completely missed the point, right? Even though the lower level challenges they're trying to solve is probably they probably have clarity there, but for some reason or other, you feel that completely missed the point, right? Why does it happen? Right? So we're going to talk about why some of these things be happening in your office right now. Right? So maybe what you're actually trying to solve is that you probably have a larger churn problem, right? Or you probably are trying to ease your support teams who are doing like manual onboarding right now, right? Or maybe you're talking to investors and they want to focus on retention and you want to solve probably first 30-day churn problem, right? So maybe this is what you're actually trying to solve with an onboarding projects, right? So maybe these are the larger conversations you have been having with your business folks before you started with an onboarding project, right? But what they actually thought they were solving is probably, hey, I need to design this 5-step design, right? I have to have this, flow where I'll probably ask a few questions, I'll probably ask them to configure a bunch of things, and make sure you have enough illustrations. That's important. So there's a very clear difference. I mean, your understanding of the problems and all the different levels of understanding the problems is probably different from what they're actually thinking they're trying to solve. But why does it happen again and again? Right? So and you would have found that on all of these various design projects, right? You are seeing a pattern, right? The pattern is probably that you're probably missing the big picture a bit consistently, right? You know that they start these projects with the right intent, but for some reason or other, they always end up missing the big picture, right? So maybe what it took to fix those projects in your company is probably you had to step in, you had to work with those people. You probably need to spend a couple of days with the PM and designers and trying to figure out, hey, how can I fix this onboarding problem? So this is a very common problem that in my field of experience, from small startups to large organizations, I've seen this consistently happen among all those companies. Right? We think the main reason is because you probably have this design team, probably have a studio in the corner doing cute design things, right? While you have on the other end of the room, you have these business folks talking business things, right? So the design is always seen as another thing, right? So you have you probably have marketers and salespeople during a business conversation, but for some reason or the other, you have design sitting in a corner doing other things, right? So among all these companies, what's very common is that they always thought design as a separate entity that's sitting they're probably in a different floor altogether. Right? They're probably not sitting among business folks. So I want to talk a little bit about how we started to fix some of these challenges in Chargebee. Right? So we are very fortunate enough to have founders who believe that they need to start sharing these business challenges to the people who are actually trying to solve these problems. Right? So we are fortunate enough to have them share their larger challenges the organization is facing, as well as some of the strategies that they are devising to try and fix those problems. Right? And they brought in key influencers and decision makers to try and figure this thing out together. And that has massively helped us in when in the trenches, when you're trying to make decisions, right? In the trenches, it's massively helpful to understand this larger business context when we're trying to solve those problems, right? So what we believe the easiest way to fix some of these challenges you probably have with your designers is to bring them to the business end. Right? I'll explain a little bit about what this means. Right. So let's go back to that example. Right? So they started with this automotive project. They had the right intentions, but they still but the final output wasn't up to the mark. Did not solve the larger business problems. So, but the thing is, you can't give them all the context of business as and when they're starting these projects. Right? Yeah, in an ideal world, you have a document, you can share with them, and they have all the context that you need to give them when they start the project. It's not practical. It's not possible. So, what we believe is a way to speak some of the problems is to bring them to the table when you are discussing with your business peers about the larger organizational challenges that you're facing, right? And as well as some of the strategies that you are devising across the organization, right? And share these things often and more openly to these people, right? So, why we think it's important is that, hey, the business needs are changing, it's evolving, right? Your market understanding is changing and evolving over time, as well as your business priorities are also changing, right? So, when you share these larger business context, larger problems of the organization, right? And they now understand their piece of the puzzle. Right? They understand now the smaller piece of the larger puzzle you're trying to solve. Now, when they start working on this project, now when they're trying to solve these problems, it fits exactly into your larger solutions, right? Which are probably across the board. Right? Now they start to be involved in your journey. Now they are more invested in the challenges you're facing down the road, right? And they see your perspectives, right? And they see the problems that the same way that you are seeing the problems. So I want to have a caveat here and stop and pause a bit and talk about we haven't fixed all these problems yet. So don't feel that Chargebee design has solved all these problems and Chargebee. We're not there yet, right? But for a fair extent, we are very convinced that this is the right path. Right? So we start on a journey, and we know these things are already bearing fruit, and we know some of the things are working already. Right? So I want to talk about how this is also useful in other areas. Right? So the problem of designers having a narrow view of the problem. And then when you try to solve this by bringing them to the table, when you share these larger challenges, is that they are now aware of the wider range of customer experience problems that they now see, right? When you share these things with them, right? Now they figure out how I can start helping the organization solve these problems and go beyond their traditional, realms of product design or the website that they're working on, so on and so forth, right? So I want to give you an example, right? So it's probably a little bit in the air. So if you probably use some Apple products, right? So we all know that they are known for good design, good hardware design, UX is good. It all comes together for some reason. But the thing is, if you have noticed, if you ever been to an Apple service center, right? Those experiences are also very similar to the larger ethos that they believe in, right? So if you step into an Apple service center, you have an iPad where you can go into details, and someone calls your name from the back, magic, and it's all inconsistent. You walk to the counter, they take your phone, you probably have a broken screen. they'll charge you a pound for it, but then you feel like you're a valid customer. Right? They'll probably even offer you a spare phone if you need it. These are all, so what's very evident here is, yes, Apple cares about those experiences, but it's also as someone had intentionally designed those experiences as well, right? Which is what we call service design, and in upcoming talks from Sana, she'll be sharing more about what UX and CX are and how we can take the journey from being a UX-centric organization to a CX. Yes, sir.
The various steps between these two, right? You mentioned about bringing design to the business table. Can you give a couple of examples of instances when we did not bring instance when we didn't bring to the business table, right? What does it look like? Is it like just inviting into meetings, informal conversations? What does it mean? Like imagine a floor of 10, 20 people. That's the organization size itself.
Right.
What does it mean by bringing design to the business table conversation? Can you give some examples?
Right. So when say you have a bigger marketing challenge that you're trying to tackle. So maybe you and a lead marketer, are probably trying to solve a couple of these things at that level, right? And you are ideating with the marketer about how
like account claim, sign-ups to
maybe sign up conversions and all those things, maybe, right? So what usually happens is that you don't make a decision overnight. You probably spend some time and you have all these different things you are exploring, and then you arrive at an idea. We're going to have this screen on the home page that's going to convert better. I want to have this flow instead of the older flow that's going to convert better. Right?
Like we deliberately introduce friction in the sign-up process to ask for first name, last name, website, address.
Right.
But that's not something marketers thought about, right? They want something intermediate.
Correct. So I think the larger point is that they are when you give them the brief, when they actually receive the brief, it's very flat, right? So you have, hey, I want A, B, and C to be on this page. I want you to be able to. I need this intermediate page between the home page and the sign-up page that's going to have some experiment around. But the problem is, they have this very narrow understanding of what they're actually trying to solve, because they were absent during when you and your marketer are probably spending all those times trying to fix it, and then and you call them at the end of the project and you're like, hey, I need this page.
Right. And the page doesn't stop with that unless your conversion problem is fixed.
Correct. So we'll talk about measuring it a bit, but then it's other.
So summarize.
It's going to come. Okay. Right. So we're going to talk about UX and CX in a bit. But what this finally helps you is to align all your customer experiences to your larger organizational philosophies that you have as a business, right? So it finally fits nicely into all the other efforts that you making across the board. Right. So the one question you have asked me is, hey, this is all nice. I want to bring the business I want to bring the design to the table. But how does it actually work? Right? Does it actually bear fruit? Good question. We are still trying to find answers for that. But so we're going to have Sangeeta Ganesh talk about some of the UX ROI, look at how to actually measure some of these impacts. But I want to show you one specific study. Right? So these these brands have known to be design centric, right? So we spoke about their design philosophies kind of span across the entire customer experience spectrum, right? So the way that they operate internally as well as across all their services, they have a very aligned design centric approach. Right? So a DMI is an agency, a design management institute, and they chose these companies because of a certain criteria. I can show you link where I can go through all those criteria, and and they studied their market growth over the span of 10 years. Right? So the thing on the left is the shareholder value, and then you're spanning from 2005 to 2015. So these design-centric companies consistently outperform the market, right? And these are all, yes, these are all examples you saw where Apple and Coke and all that, I understand. But then we have reasons to believe that when you infuse design and when your larger business problems and these larger strategies align very specifically to some of the strategies that you're following in design, it will bear fruit, and it is measured. So to summarize, I want to end this here. Designers usually miss the big picture, right? Because they lack context of a larger business context. Right? They don't understand what you're trying to do out there. Right? They only have a narrow understanding of the problem. You're probably also seeing design the wrong way. You're probably including design too late. You're probably keeping them separate from some of the design conversations, the business conversations that you're having. The way we think you should be fixing this is to bring the design to the business table more often and more and share more openly about some of your business challenges, as well as some of the strategies that you're devising to fix them. Right? And the way to measure some of those things, and then our upcoming talk is going to talk about that, is that these things are measurable. Make sure that you go beyond just your product or website, and make sure that all your customer experience touch points, be it you have a lot of offline sales or you have other touch points for the brand, make sure those things are thoughtfully designed as well. That's it.
So yeah. Everyone is a designer, but some are just better than others. That's something which you said earlier. So we got a bit of time for Q&A, and if any of you have any questions, just raise your hand. Sorry, state your name.
Jay Shankar from Point 105 AM. So one challenge that we constantly face is we are a tech-centric organization, heavily backend, APIs, stuff, and how much of a role is a designer? What has your experience been with a designer for a tech-centric company, and how much, to put it bluntly, how much time are they going to be occupied in some such company, and that, in terms of being engaged with the core of the company and working 5 days a week, fundamentally, right?
Right. So I asked you about how would the designers spend time with.
Let's say in an early stage company such as ours,
right.
Where most of the bottlenecks are in engineering or sales, right? And the design component, to take the example that you have, right? For instance, we don't have conversions or signups.
Right.
That just seems like a one-off, effort that happens, right? So where is the value add on a continual basis in a small organization where the bottlenecks are elsewhere? Right? The design component I just throwing this question out, and just if there's some light you can throw on how we should be thinking about that.
Sure. I think some of the things Rajaram is going to cover, how we can invest in design and so on and so forth. But the thing is, even if you are, so I'll answer some of your questions. I think there are 2 or 3 different things you're asking. So the first thing you're asking about, hey, what if we don't have a tangible design, outcome? Right? As I have a website, maybe I do have a website, maybe I don't have a product that has UI or something. Right? So even if your service is just an API, right, that probably your customers consume, right, there is a possibility of you be thoughtfully designing that API experience. So I think some of the things that Raman used to talk about is that how they spend the early time trying to make sure those APIs designed well for the intended audience, which is your developers. So product customer developers. So I think for one, there will be a design opportunity. There is some customer experience touch point between your customers, and there'll be some interface. Not only user interface, there will be some interface that you probably have with the customers, and there's an opportunity for you to improve those experiences as well. Right? What? I think your other question was how do people, with all the things that's happening, how do they spend time on these problems? Right. So I'm not saying that these things require they probably want to spend a lot of time with business work because they are doing X, Y, and Z. But then I'm saying be more conscious about some of the things you're sharing with those folks. Right? I understand they probably have a tight deadline, they have projects running and all that. But I think this is going to really save some of those efforts because you'll be saving time with redoing things that they completely missed. They have a project completely done. You have to spend time. They have to spend time completely rethinking the whole thing again. We believe it's going to save time because you spend less time in trying to explain about your business, right, when the project is starting because they already have the larger context. Right? So we believe that there will be a good ROI for the time that those designers are spending with the business folks. One thing is all I'm saying is be more conscious about things you're sharing because they probably need it during decision making down the line.
Can I add to this?
Sure.
The API part?
Sure.
Right, because we tend to think that designing the API is specs, right? Where does the design come from? I think I just want to add it to that. So when we design an API, right, and then you have multiple libraries, right? If you think some of the best API documentations that are out there, right? Some fantastic companies are there, like all the way from Postman to the Contentful, which is a API-based CMS. All of them. If you think about how the documentation actually works, the amount of thought that has gone into where will you use a design, right? Just to make sure that we do something really good after you create the curls, REST, API, spec, and all that stuff. You still need to put it out there, describe what it is, right? And then also imagine how it's going to be consumed, whatever is the language in which they are going to use. What are some of the best examples of how it's implemented, right? By some of the best API-driven companies. And then the amount of effort that goes into the research of all of those, if you think about all the time, it's probably the best use of the designer time to actually think about all the possibilities and then bring that to the table with all the research examples and then say, yes, this is how it should be done. It's the best example of how we can do that. I remember Rajaram working on the hosted pages before Praveen came on board, I think with Damodaran. At that time, they collected more than, how many data points for hosted pages? Just the screen where he showed first name, last name, address. 250 websites around the world. We looked at every single checkout page, all from Amazon to, Amazon doesn't even have the subscription billing, right? But the checkout page is common. And then going deeper into the research and then bringing all that to the table to say, hey, you should call this province in certain countries, in regions. Here it's called state. Even the label, and then making sure that you're designing specs around that. So the API is consistent with your UI, and suddenly you realize the amount of effort, you will shortchange it as a founder or a developer because you really didn't prioritize it. But imagine having somebody like that, unlocking that, then suddenly the experience will create a wow. I remember pretty much most people were sold when they read the API documentation of Chargebee without exploring the product. They wouldn't even sign up. The entry point will be API docs. They will read the documentation before they write to support saying, I love the documentation, right? And then they will go into even experiencing the product. So if you are an API first company, thinking design first, your research is some of the best places where you can use a designer. Then maybe it will unlock the potential of where all you can actually use it.
Perfect, thank you.
I just have a premise, and that's the single question. I've seen a lot of designers who just don't get business. And one way at least we've tried solving it is to communicate with a smaller set of people who can then transfer that information to the larger group.
Sure.
So what I want as an answer is how do we better structure the process for a person leading the design team to understand the business to the depth and the breadth that we would like to engage them with? Is there a, see, calling them to the business table, I get that. Is there a structure? Is there a how to do that you can guide us through?
Sure.
That was actually my question, is that how do you really groom a designer to understand business objectives?
Right.
Because good designers itself are like unicorns these days. You hardly find good designers who can understand. But asking them to understand business objectives on top of it and being like, hey, solve my onboarding problem, reduce churn by 20%, is in my opinion asking a little bit too much. So how do you groom these people to understand business objectives?
That's fair. I think some of these things Radha was going to cover in his talk, so I know I'm escaping these questions. I saw his left, he asked his answers there. To add, to probably answer. Sure. One answer to your question is that yes, it is not possible to bring everyone to the business table. We have 20 designers. It's not possible. Right? So hopefully that you are bringing some key people to the business table and sharing these things and make sure they have a mandate to go and share that to the rest of the team. If that transfer of knowledge is happening, all well and good. Right? But it's a very conscious effort that probably needs to happen. Right? You probably have hierarchies, you probably have some team leads within the design team who probably needs to hear those things from the horse's mouth. But then hopefully they are sharing that with the other folks who are they probably working with. So I want to skip that question about how we groom a designer. I'll let Radha.
I'll have a quick thing to add actually. So you usually underestimate a lot what you can achieve by allowing others to be a fly on the wall and listen to a lot of the conversation. I think it's okay. It's a work in progress, but when a lot of people are part of the conversation, when you're thinking about the idea that's really bad idea, the original version of the idea that looks so bad, to get to the idea that's reasonably good to have a conviction to explore, a lot of conversation that takes from the bad idea to the reasonable idea. That conversation, making them part of those conversations is the best way that we have figured out from our own experience. But it takes a long time, but it's doable by just including that one part in the everyday conversation.
Okay, so I have to cut you short there because we're running a bit late on time. Sure. Just one thing, that wonderful person there is Krish of Chargebee, he's the founder. He's not a plant by us. I just want to make that clear. Okay, Praveen, thank you very much. Yeah. For extended questions and all that, we have the networking break and post that, so we'll be cutting a bit short because we have to make a bit of time.